All right, guys, Shotty T here with another very informative video. Another anticipated video. A lot of people ask, what building should I focus on building? So this is the video for that. So this is going to take probably about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe more, because I do ramble sometimes. But anyway, your most important building in the whole entire game is your headquarters. So the headquarters, it makes your base go round. It increases the strength capacity of your champs. As you can see, my top champs are at level 125, and I cannot advance them any further. And it says at the bottom, insufficient headquarters level. So for every HQ level, you can upgrade your champs by 5 levels. So I think from what I've seen so far in the game, level 30 HQ level is where I've seen people. So those people have the ability to get to level 150 for their champs. Now, when it comes to other buildings that are useful to have, you have your tech center. That's probably the second most important thing to have in the game. This increases your mastery of your champs, and there are various different masteries, either for economy purposes or for different heroes or certain utility stuff. Like, I love the fact that I finally unlocked another truck, so now I have 5 trucks I can dispatch daily. Just finished this yesterday. All right. So those are the two most important buildings overall, and I'll have a separate video regarding the research stuff. So other buildings that are of significance, whenever you upgrade your HQ, there are 2 conditions that are always required. All right, so I'm gonna segue to this real quick. Actually, let me go here. This will probably do it quicker. So if you look at it here, building your HQ early on to level 10 doesn't take long at all, but pretty much from level 10 onwards, from level 8 onwards, you always gonna have to upgrade your tech center. And then the other buildings, if you look at condition 2, it's gonna be it's gonna be a combination of alliance center, tank center, hospital, wall, barracks, drill ground. So I'm gonna talk about all of those here. All right, so we go back here. So first you got your tank. I think the tank is what you see the most frequent. And the reason why the tank is because when you first start the game, a lot of the champs that you have at your disposal are tanks. So it makes sense. All right. And then you also have the drill ground, which is back here. This and all of these upgrades do cost resources. You got your food, you got your gold, and you got your iron. We'll talk more about resources shortly. So you definitely want to keep building those every time you go to bed or whatever. If you're off the game, just mine for resources out there in the world. You have your barracks. Of course, that was part of the rotation. It increases the unit training cap and the level. You have to get prerequisites to get to certain levels. So I won't be able to upgrade to level 9 troops until barracks 27. All right, and then after that, you have the Alliance Center. This increases the amount of help that you receive from Alliance members. All right, it's capped at 16 at the moment, but survivors can also increase that. We can talk about survivors in another video in more detail, but I'm going to show you just an example for this here. Let's go to the Alliance Center survivors real quick. And any survivor helps, but obviously if you can get the golden ones and you can get them in the survivor tickets. But let's look at this for example. So this group of survivors adds another 9 help receive max. So that can help you build stuff or heal stuff or research stuff just that much quicker by having a higher capacity of help. So survivors do make your game more efficient as well, and that'll be probably a separate video in itself. So I'm going over the prerequisite buildings now. Then you have your hospital. As you can see, I'm kind of working on the hospital now. If you probably saw a quick glance at that chart I showed you, in order to upgrade HQ level to 26, you need a level 25 hospital and a level 26 tech center. Level 25 hospital and level 25 tech center. I haven't started on my tech center yet because I don't have enough slots to do so, but it does take 10 days to build that thing. So this hospital, I still got to finish level 24 before I even get to 25. So it's going to take a few weeks before I'm able to upgrade my HQ to level 26, because once I start on the HQ, it's going to take, I'm guessing it's probably going to take 2 weeks for that thing to finish. And I'm going to share some things you can do while you're waiting during that time. And then the frequent one that you see is the wall. The wall is at level 23 for me, and it's still taking like another 4 days before that finished. And the wall takes a lot of time too. And the reason why I'm working on the wall ahead of time, because in order to get the HQ 27, I have to have level 26 tech center and a level 26 wall. So you want to keep all your prerequisite buildings as close to your HQ as possible, which is your wall, your alliance center, your drill ground, your tank center, your barracks, and your hospital. All the other buildings have certain use in the game. The ones that are duplicate of the prerequisite ones, like the barracks, for example, ultimately, whenever I get my HQ to 27, this will be a level 27 barracks. I'm going to keep this on that 24, going to keep this on that 20, and going to keep this on that 17. So really, there's no need to upgrade barracks any further unless you get the level, for me example, until I get to level 30. But that's probably going to take until 2025 before I get to level 30. Because it's a lot of time, because I'm not spending that type of money to get there quicker. But anyway, and then your secondary hospitals, you don't have to build them up any higher either. All these other secondary buildings you can pretty much use to take advantage of these versus events. Whenever you have your base expansion, you get credit for increasing your building power by 1 point and construction resources. Like whenever you upgrade the hospital, your power goes from 19,200 to 23,000. So like a 4,000 power increase. So it does help towards the versus for all of these other buildings I'm about to go over with you guys. But they still have their uses in the game. So first you got your resources. You unlock more of these by increasing your HQ and also certain research mastery. You got your iron, and then you have this here, your iron warehouse that stores your iron. This is useful to protect iron whenever someone is plundering you. Now, obviously, with my amount of resources I got, this is not gonna really do too much for me. But again, if you don't have a lot of resources, you definitely want to have your protection there. And then you have your food down here, and you see I'm collecting stuff because there's a capacity. Depending on your level, you can increase the food output per hour, the iron output per hour. And then once it's full, you'll see like a red, like a little orange circle, kind of like you see here on that airplane. So you have to click on that to redeem it. But a good practice is every time you're on the game, just click on it. So that way you don't get the max. A lot of time when you go to sleep and wake up the next morning, it might be at max capacity. All right, so you got your gold mines there. You have your smelters. So what this does, this increases your upgrade or output per hour. This is pretty useful. I'm gonna go ahead and redeem that too. So this is pretty useful when you're upgrading the gears of your champs. So right now that's too low of a number, but let's look at this for example. So in order to upgrade this gear, which I would never do at this stage of the game, I don't recommend anyone doing, but if I want to upgrade this particular armor from level 0 to level 1, it only costs 15, or I have 202 right now, but what I'm doing right now is I'm focusing on Kimberly to getting her to level 40. So it's going to take another 6,500 ore to get there. And that's why I've been utilizing this particular event the bullseye booty to get these ores. I'm not gonna get to this 10,000 one, so unfortunately I won't get to that. But there are other ways to get ore in the game. All right, and you have your experience points there with your training bases. Again, you don't have to upgrade these to high, but as you can see, it doesn't cost as much time to upgrade these to higher levels. So these are useful buildings to upgrade whenever you get incentives for upgrading buildings and speeding up. So, that's what we kind of use those for. The tavern, this again, this doesn't give you much, but you get you get a free recruit. I think every 3 days. So whenever you upgrade your tavern, it decreases that time by like an hour. So it's a little thing, but it's not like a big thing. All right, so it's not mandatory. Your secondary drill grounds you don't have to have at high capacity, but I have mine's kind of high because my troops get full a lot. Even though you don't see that right now, my troop capacity is 24,000, but I'm at like 6,200, so I'm like at 25% capacity because I fight a lot. So I lose a lot of troops. But there will be some dead times where I can build my troops pretty high. So you always want to keep your drill grounds pretty high, but you obviously keep one of them at the highest level. Other buildings of significance, you have your material workshop. So again, you can upgrade these. They don't cost as much time. And what these do is that when you go to your gear factory, which is another building in itself, you get max benefit getting this to level 10. Anything past that is only for event purposes. So you don't have to go out of your way to level that up. But the components, though, when you merge them, you can slowly but surely form your yellow craft material. Let me see if I can form one with this. I can barely form one. So we're now at 401. So and you have to do 750 of these to craft legendary gear. I have one in progress right now. You can only produce one per time. So if you have enough for two, you have to wait until that timer ends before you start another one. So if you're impatient, you can use speed ups, but if not, just let it run its course. And I do have a building that's going on for this event today, as we speak, just to take advantage of some points. Other buildings here, you got the builder's hut. This is useful, especially when you're starting out. It saves yourself some time when you're building stuff, really. So it gives you 12 minutes. At my level, at level 17, it saves 12 minutes. So if it takes 30 minutes to build something, and now it's 18, survivors can also shave more time off of that as well. So really, it's not a mandatory building to upgrade unless you're just doing it for the side event. The second tech center unlocks at level HQ 20. This is something that you can purchase. If you're free to play, obviously you're not going to do it. But if you were to spend money on the game, I would recommend getting a second tech center and also 3 more building queue slots. I think the first, because everybody starts with 1 queue slot, but if to upgrade the other 3, you have to spend money and it scales in price. The first one doesn't cost hardly anything. I think like $1 or $2. The second one I believe is $5, and then the third one I believe is like 20. So, but if you want to get to that sweet spot of 3, that's totally fine. You can still build a lot of buildings at one time with 3 slots. And then as far as the other stuff, I think we covered everything on the inside. Let me just make sure. Like I said, your aircraft and your missiles, you want to try to keep that as close to your HQ as possible, even though it's not a prerequisite to upgrade your HQ. But you just want to keep, as you get more champs in the game, especially the missile champs such as Tesla, you want to make them stronger by having more troops when they march out and have a higher health pool, higher attack, higher defense. So, and it costs a lot. It costs a lot of material to build. 209 million where I am now, and it takes a lot of days to build as well. 8 days. So, and I can tell you what the tricks that I do when I do that. Same thing for aircraft. like the new champ that just came out in the game, Morrison. It helps him. It helps DVA. Helps Scott Schuyler. So it helps a lot of champs. But again, most of your champs going to be in the tank center, and that's goes hand in hand with your HQ prerequisites. And you have your drone component here. This it decreases the time it takes to build one drone component. So right now I'm at level 17. For every 3 hours and 26 minutes, I produce one component, and this is useful when you're combining all of these for day 3 of the verses. So ones make twos, makes threes, and all that. So you go to you have this event here where your drone components come into play. So these are all supplemental bases. They're not required per se, but again, if you got spare slots and you've already upgraded the prerequisite ones, or if you're waiting for the last one, like tech center, for example, once one of these big slots open up, probably once this tank is done, once the tank is finished, I'm going to start on my tech center. So I have 10 days, and I can use that 10 days to build up this at the very least. And then once this hospital is done, I could probably, matter of fact, when this hospital is done, I'll probably go ahead and start on the missile center. And then while the tech center is building, I can start on the aircraft or the drill grounds or the barracks. But you always want to have one free slot if you can for the quick stuff, and then you use your other slots for the bigger stuff, so you can be more efficient in your building. So just to kind of recap again, you have your HQ, which is your primary base. You got your tech center, which is going to go hand in hand when you increase your HQ. And then you're going to have your rotation buildings that are going to be required, such as your alliance center, your tank center, your drill ground, your hospital, your barracks, and your wall. These outside things, again, you don't really need to upgrade these. This is just stuff just for little conveniences in the game. If you got the slots to do it, if not, focus on the main ones, keep the main thing, and you will go pretty far in the game. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. Have a great Friday.